So here at Franchise Sidekick, every advisor on our team is either an existing or a former business owner. What we have found is that's so important when thinking about how we are going to offer advice to clients on becoming business owners themselves, right? The previous experience. So Mike, talk a little bit about how your previous experience as a business owner and as a franchisee helps you be a better advisor.
Yeah, I think it's essential. Honestly, as a senior advisor, that's what I look for on my team. And the reason is because when you're trying to tell a client this is the best thing to do, you should be a business owner and all that kind of stuff, the number one question I get is, if it's so great, why don't you do it? Mm-hmm. And if I couldn't say, I do, I don't know where that conversation would go, right? I wouldn't feel authentic. I wouldn't feel like I am qualified to tell you to do something that I haven't done before. What I tell a lot of my clients is, most of our advisors are investors first, advisors second. We are shopping right alongside you. There's multiple people on our team right now close to the finish line to buy another franchise. I always look at things not from a salesperson, not from a, this is the hot brand, all that kind of stuff. When I'm talking through brands, I'm going, this is how I would run it. This is what I think would be hard, because every business has hard. Sometimes marketing doesn't show that. Right? Sometimes you talk to a brand and they're like, oh, it's so easy, it prints money, all that kind of stuff. If you haven't run that before, sometimes you can, play into that. Sometimes you can feel that, yeah, it's easy. Versus, I've slept on the floor of my store before, I've fired people, I've changed marketing, all that kind of stuff. And going through that, it's easier to go, if I was running this is what I'd be looking out for. This is what's going to be hard. This is where I think it's scary. All those kind of things. Without that experience, how can I pass it on? What's my value?
You said that and it just hit me like, that is so true. If you didn't have any experience, how are you going to relate at all to the challenges and also the success of the business that you've had in the past? That's really good. Des, how about you as a franchisee? How does that help you become a better advisor?
I think just piggybacking off what you said, we're overcoming hurdles before they're hurdles, right? We're preparing. And if I sit here and tell you it's going to be easy and then it's not, most of this businesses go back to referrals, right? Work with Des. She helped me with XYZ. And if I didn't do that, how are we going to continue to build and grow? We talk about owning a franchise as following a system and a process, right? We also have that. But having experienced that, I actually tell a lot of my clients, like, year one, you put horse blinders on. You are only focused on top line sales and you follow that system and that process. Once you have your legs underneath you, I did the exact same thing. I go, okay, now I know what I'm doing, what worked, what didn't, and I work through those types of things with them ahead of time. Me being in California, what does it mean to employ in California, right? Looking at different markets and understanding that. And not only that, using our other advisors who are in different markets and leveraging those to help them along in their journey too. So I sat here 3 years ago and worked with Tyler, and now I'm doing that same thing for them too. So I had a little bit of an extra lift off per se, but now I'm just giving it back to them, knowing that I'm putting on my franchisor hat, I'm putting on my franchisee hat, and I'm working with them as a silent partner with no stake in the game, making sure we're reducing risk.
I love that. I love your story too. You were a Sidekick client, and then you call us back years later, and not even years later, like a year and a half. It felt like it might have been a little longer, but you were like, hey, I'm kind of, I have capacity. I've got my business in a place that it's profitable. It doesn't require all my full-time efforts. Now what? And you decided to come and help other people do the same thing. What a great story. Tyler, for you, I want to talk a little bit about, you've been a business owner many times in multiple things. You've been a franchisee, you've been an independent business owner, you've been an online marketer business owner. So you've really seen lots of different things, all the way from your own startups to, running a blueprint somebody else created. How does that help you when you're talking about a franchise business compared to them doing something on their own?
You don't know what you don't know. That's what it comes down to. If you're advising somebody on something you've never done before, they don't know. You don't know it's impossible. You have to live it. The challenges of business ownership are a lot. We all know that, right? And if you've not lived through that, you can't advise people. There's no way. So it's just experience. It's just, entrepreneurship is a journey. You have to experience it, and you have to be able to translate that to our clients. It is incredibly important that we've had to go through this ourselves, for sure. And I love how we lean in entrepreneurship as well. It's not a mandatory thing, but if you're a business owner and you apply for an advisor position, we're like, yep, that's a check, because we want that so much. So many companies are like, we don't want that. It's going to interfere with your current role. it's going to be a conflict of interest. Your focus isn't going to be there. We're like, let's go. Like, that's what we want. And I love that about Sidekick.
I've had plenty of people, when I tell them that we encourage the people on our team to become franchisees, they say, what a mistake. It's a bad idea. You shouldn't do it. It's going to split their interest. And I say, I think you're wrong. I've seen that people own their own business become that much better at becoming an advisor. It's why doctors and dentists have to go through apprenticeships. It's why you pay more for an attorney that has experience. When you're working with an advisor that's done it themselves, there's no doubt you're going to be in a better position when you open your own business.
Well, and when you have a team, piggyback on what Des said, I've owned businesses in this realm, in this area, in this industry, but then we have Kale that was brand president on dog franchise. We have people that own restaurants. We have people that own fitness. If me as an individual advisor doesn't have the experience, I got 10 other guys that have owned in different industries, different areas, all that kind of stuff. So you're not just working with one advisor when you work with Sidekick. You're working with a team of advisors, which is really unique.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes we have franchise brands that will present their opportunity to us, and the questions come back, and they're a little caught off guard. They're like, well, we haven't had people ask about depreciation, or we haven't had people ask about that type of question before. And it's coming from a place of experience, which just allows us to know that opportunity so much more.
We're also evaluating that brand at the same time. Like, when they're pitching it to us, they're pitching it to us too. We're like, do we like that brand?
Yeah.
Is that something? And we're
usually
side
texting
text,
each other,
like,
halfsies on this one.
like,
Yeah.
Yep. What'd you buy?
Yeah,
Yep.
the organization is like that, so that's why we embrace it. We love it. There was 4 conversations happening today in the office around depreciation and like random things that I'd walk by and hear people talking about. I'm like, this is awesome.
Colvin walks in the other day, and he's like, yeah, I bought a game day. I was like, oh, cool. That's great.